What's up, everybody? It's ECW Original The Enforcer, C.W. Anderson, and I'm listening, as always, to Count It Out Wrestling with Mike and Tyler because I'm an Anderson.
You are listening to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to another edition of the Bill Apter Seal of Approve Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. My name is Tyler, and this week I am not just joined. Oh wait, sorry, that's a force of habit. This week it is back.
Oh no! Oh
no! As you guys can tell for the last month that we've had a lot of interviews, but this week I am joined by the one and only Mojito Mike. Mike, how are you?
Oh yes.
Yes. What a run. What a roll Count It Out's been on.
What a way to cap the year off and then start a whole new year. Like it's not exactly what we had in mind. I got to the point where I was getting scared because show 200 was coming and we didn't have a guest. And I'd been working, as you know, and we've mentioned on the show.
I was going to say you put yourself on the record of working very hard to get a big guest.
I've been working on while you were working this whole time on the year end. I was working on 200, and I'm like, I've given myself plenty of time. I've been working on it since about October. I got lots of time, and then time started getting shorter and shorter and shorter. We still didn't have a guest. I'm gonna pull the curtain back, guys. We didn't know that we actually had Rob Van Dam until an hour before we interviewed him.
Yeah.
And that was the day before we released the show.
Yeah.
Like it came that down to the wire. We were making plan C's because our plan B fell through too. Because our plan B was Tyler Breeze, who had to move to the following week, as you guys heard. So plan B was gone. We're working on a plan C. Thank God it all fell together. We had Rob Van Dam.
Fell together and then some.
And then some. We had Rob Van Dam just as we were supposed to, followed by a great interview the following week by Tyler Breeze. Both fantastic guys, great guys to talk to, great guys to interview. Let's start there. First of all, show 200. We've done 200 shows.
That's wild, eh?
That's insane to me.
4 years we're coming on.
Take away the fact that we had, one of a kind himself, Rob Van Dam, on the show. Arguably our biggest guest to date.
Yeah, that really made our 200th episode completely whole fucking show. See what I did there?
I see that.
Because that was what his catchphrase was in ECW.
Yes.
Sting!
I don't know what we could do in 2 years from now for show 300, because we went from TJ Wilson on show 100 to Rob Van Dam in show 200. We're gonna have to get Triple H himself.
Yeah, we're getting to that point. And then even we were talking about a couple weeks ago, the guests that we've had for our anniversary shows.
Yeah,
it's like Ian Riccaboni, Devon Dudley,
I've got a big. I'm working on something big for show for the 4-year show. We probably won't know it until the day of, because
I can confirm
in true Count It Out fashion.
I can confirm that Mike has been working hard. It is true. It is damn true that Mike has been working hard. Okay?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
God, it's what it is. It's damn true that you've been working hard, and I'm proud of you. But you know what else is damn true?
You're putting it out into the universe. It's gonna. Oh, okay.
It's damn true that you worked real hard to get RVD. You worked real hard to get Tyler Breeze, and I'm really proud of you, man. So that was 2 big gets on your end there, and we both worked really hard to make the year end come together. And you worked really hard to get Gary Michael Capetta, who you'll be hearing in the next week or two, probably next week. But who knows? We might record another episode. Who knows?
You guys got to hear a bit of him on the year-end show, but that conversation was a lot longer than you guys got to hear. So he sometime in the next week or two, you're going to hear the rest of the Gary Michael Capetta interview, which if you're an old school fan, like if you've been watching for a long time, especially, or you're a new guy and just really want to learn about the business, this is a really interesting interview. Like, he's a really interesting man. He's been around since the 70s. He worked under Vince Sr. He spent a lot of time with Gorilla Monsoon. He's been everywhere.
He's the only man to simultaneously work for the WWF, the NWA, and AEWA.
AWA, all at the same time.
Yeah, at the exact same time.
He ring announced for absolute legends in every company. We got some great stories out of him.
And his moniker is the world's most dangerous announcer. Yes. And he has blessed me to use Ontario's most dangerous announcer, which Mike Jeffries did call me at Barrie Wrestling. So that made me very happy. Thank you, Mike Jeffries.
Speaking of which, let's switch to Barrie for a minute.
Before we talk about Barrie, do us a favor, because I want to just say this before I forget, and then I want to talk about Barrie because it's pretty awesome stuff going on there as always. Please subscribe on our YouTube page. We are on the road to 500 subscribers. We are very close. We're getting closer and closer, and I'd really like to hit that goal. So if you could just take a second and go over to the Counted Out 7 YouTube page, that would be phenomenal. We do have... Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I just want to say, for two really big reasons too. This could be the year that we hit our goal of 1,000, and which makes us able to start building this show. We can't really build on this show until we hit 1,000 YouTube subscribers. That's the number YouTube sets for you. So once we get to that number, we can really start to build this show a little bit better for you guys. But the second reason, we're only like 300 subscribers away from beating George McKay. That I can't stress how important that is. George McKay has like 330 followers or something like that. Let's get more there, guys. More than or did I say 330? I bet 830.
Yeah, he's got 800 something. Yeah.
George he's got 800 something. All I care about is beating George McKay. That's all I really want to do at the end of the day.
Give a shout out to George over at the Straight Talk Wrestling podcast. He's doing some great stuff. He's
doing some cool stuff. Joey Janela was just on his show.
Joey Janela was just on his show. I can't remember his other one. He just had another really, really good one, and it's going to drive me nuts now. Sorry, George, but I did listen to it. I just can't remember who it was. Either way, George and the mini host doing great things over at Straight Talk Wrestling, and I'm going to actually pull it up right now.
One of these days, I think we've been talking about this for 2 years now, but one of these days we're going to do a co-promotion show. We're going to get George on the show, and or we'll do his show and call you mini host.
Yeah. I don't know if I can handle the abuse that I would take from you and George at the same time.
Oh, it'd be really funny.
But yeah, we're
gonna do some pro promotion with Straight Talk Wrestling. But yes, definitely check them out after you subscribe to Counted Out.
Absolutely.
So let me bounce to Barrie really quick. I don't want to spend a lot of time on Barrie right now because there's a lot to get to today. But there's something I need to ask you. How do you feel about your commentary debut this past show at Barrie?
Very exciting for me to be able to do that. It was definitely really cool to check off the bucket list of things to do. It was very stressful. I didn't find out till the morning of the show that I was doing it. Diamond Jim was under the weather. Yeah, he was very under the weather for the week. He was hit and miss if he was going to make the show. He decided to play it smart and not show up because that's what we do at Barrie Wrestling. We take care of ourselves and Jim was each other exactly. And Jim decided that it was just best if he didn't do it. I will say I went back and rewatched my performance. And I'll pull the curtain back a little bit. This was a really stressful day in general because this is when the big snowstorms were happening out in Erie County. And they put a curfew in place for Erie County, which we found out about 3 hours before the show.
And for those who don't know, a minimum of 2 at any time of our wrestlers come from Buffalo. So
the show was 6.
This show was 6?
Yeah, we had...
At any given time, it's usually Puff and Young Jay Lee.
Yes.
At the very least, it's
And
always
Musso
Puffin
as
Young
well.
Joey.
Musso's a
I,
regular now.
I always forget Musso is from Buffalo.
Hmm.
So those three guys are always on the show, and then every once in a while you'll get more guys from there. You know, Blackwood might show up every once in a while, or Haley
Leo
Dillon
Sparrow
or
and Bobby
Leo
Orlando
Sparrow.
are
Yeah,
they're Long Island guys.
exactly.
But so we found out that they put a curfew in place. So and Sean was always caring about the safety of the performers. He told the guys, turn around and go home. Get home
Yeah.
safe. And they're like, well, we're already pretty much here. So we had to redo pretty much the whole show on the fly, which was crazy. So we put all the guys in a six-way King of New York match to start, which was a fun match. So yeah, it was a hectic day
Okay,
overall.
because at this point you have to, because our shows start at 5 o'clock. You got to
5:30,
get
yeah.
you got to get these Buffalo guys in the ring, out the ring, in their cars and home by 9 o'clock.
They had to be off the roads by 9 p.m. Yeah, and they made it.
Yeah.
Thankfully, everyone was safe. Everyone got home okay. That was fantastic. As far as my commentating went, I have to give a huge props to Mike Jeffries. He is so good
What
at
a
what he
sore back
does.
that
Yeah,
man must have.
absolutely. I went back and I listened to it. I thought for my first attempt at doing commentary, I thought I did okay. Definitely a lot of room for improvements.
Hopefully by next week I'll be able to give you a proper critique. I have yet to watch the show, so
I got to ask how much does this guy weigh to Mike
I love
Jeffries,
that.
which
I
was
love that.
fantastic. But Mike does so many little things that like he was just so good at like filling in the gaps of probably times where I should have been talking a little bit more. I think I could have worked on my enthusiasm a little bit, but it was tough because I was pulling double duty doing the ring announcing as well. So but overall, I would say thumbs in the middle, and then I hope I get the opportunity at some point to try it again. I really enjoyed it, and it was just cool to
Man,
do. But I'm
I was
happy
upset.
just to go back to ring announcing.
I was upset because I was supposed to be at that show and I decided not to go. I had some family stuff going on. I'm like, you know what? This is time to spend with my family, and I ended up not going. And then you told me that story. I'm just like, I could have had a job today.
Yeah, well, it was a fun day though, and you can check that out on IWTV. Uh, Barry Wrestling, all those shows are up there, and we're on our path to the 100th show, the Barry Wrestling 100th show, which is exciting stuff.
Ahead by a century. Great
Head by a
name.
century. Are you going to be at this one, by the way? I haven't talked to you about it.
No, I will not.
You will not be there. And
Unfortunately. Yeah, February will be a no wrestling month for me,
well, it's a
unfortunately.
good thing the show's in March, Mike, not February.
Well,
March 2nd. Okay.
that's
It's
that's
pretty much
basically
February.
that's basically February because they're missing those 2 days. That's February 30th or 31st. 31st.
The last thing I want to say before we talk about wrestling is stay tuned to the Counted Out social medias, mainly Instagram, possibly some Twitter as well. But we're going to be putting up some polls over the next couple weeks, probably starting after the Capetta interview goes out, because we got more interviews than just Capetta in the can.
Yes, sir.
I've got interviews sitting here, and they're all short. They're all about 10-minute interviews, and we're gonna let you guys vote to see which order you want us to put these out in, because we'll put them in and then do our list and our show after, because they're only 10 minutes. So we got interviews in the can with such great names as Al Snow, Hollywood Haley J, pardon me, the amazing Maria Shahira from Impact and the show The Wrestler, Eric Redbeard Browen. I'm missing one, but maybe I'm not. I don't know. Either way, we've got some really good interviews in the can that I'm excited for everybody to hear. So
Yeah, and if you follow me personally on social medias, I unleashed the list of every person we've ever interviewed on the show, and I didn't realize we were up that like we're touching 80. Like we're just a bit shy of getting to 80. 80 interviews almost in just under 4 years. Considering we're not an interview show. Like that's not our concept. That's
despite
not
the last 4 weeks of our show, we are not an
you know
interview show.
that's not our bread and butter is what I mean to say. We're that show that does lists, and if somebody's cool enough to say, "Hey, I'll be on your show," then we do that. So to say that we've had 80 people, and if you break down that list, I took off all the indie people, all our friends, all, and just left alone just the bigger names, the notable people outside of the indie world, like in the actual realm of professional wrestling. The list is still in the 50s.
Yeah.
Like, very impressive. I think we've done a bit better job than even I have given us credit for. So
100%. And if you subscribe to our
crazy.
YouTube page, you can go back and relive all these great interviews. We got a lot of really good, like fun, deep cut interviews too.
We
With
really do.
like Jim Brunzell was a fun one. Daddy time.
No, keep going, keep going.
Oh,
My
yeah. Oh,
nothing. My wife's trying to distract me. It's fine.
oh, booby time.
I won't go into detail. Speaking of wrestling, let's talk about wrestling. The whole reason we decided we had to do a show this week is and not play the competitive interview. My favorite time of the year just passed. This is the first time we didn't build up to our Royal Rumble show for weeks.
But you are getting a Royal Rumble
we're
list
so
today.
busy. 100%. Usually we have a couple Royal Rumble lists during the year, leading up to Royal Rumble, and it's usually before the Royal Rumble. But with Breeze and RVD, we didn't want to make you wait for those interviews. So you got those. Now it's our Royal Rumble show. Tell the people what your Royal Rumble list is before we talk about this year's Rumble.
I'm going to be counting down the top 7 final 4 Royal Rumbles, like the final 4 participants in the Royal Rumble. Final 4 battles, final 4.
Yeah. No, you did not, like, today, the Rumble was on Wednesday or on Saturday, sorry. As we're recording, it is now the Tuesday after. So you've had a few days. You did not solidify your list until today. Did you consider 2024 in your list?
The women's Rumble didn't even have a final 4, believe it or not. They went from 5 to 3. Yeah. So that could not be in. The men's I gave a little bit of thought to, especially because Cody and Punk was really good.
Because the final, and
Drew McIntyre and
who was the other one? It was impressive. Why can't I remember? Oh, Walter. Gunther.
Oh, Gunther. Yes, correct. Yeah. I gave a little bit of thought to it.
We're talking about star power. Look at that: Drew McIntyre, Gunther, Cody, and CM Punk.
It did not make the cut, however.
But it was in consideration. Is all I'm asking.
Yeah, it was, but
because sometimes we're like, we can't consider the year of because we already worked so hard on the list and it didn't come in time, and you don't want to sneak it in and stuff like that. But you've had several days to consider it. So I just didn't know if
I thought about putting it in the number 7 spot. I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it enough. We'll put it that way. Do you want me to talk about the criteria now, or do you want me to talk about the criteria when we get to the list?
Let's get to the list and talk about it. I will say this: your list scares me.
Yeah, you're gonna hate it.
I have no idea what you're going to be talking about tonight because throughout the last week and a half. Please go. Throughout the week, fuck. Well, she successfully distracted me. I apologize.
I'm not editing any of this out either. Yeah. That's a win for the wife.
Yeah.
That's the win for the wife.
Oh, what was I talking about?
Oh yeah. You're talking about my criteria, how you're gonna hate my list.
Oh no, I didn't say I was gonna hate it, but your list scares me. Yeah. Your list scares me because I don't know where you're going here. Over the last couple of weeks, like, I threw some rumbles at you that I was 90% sure that, like, I have 2 rumbles that I knew were going to be your number 1. It was either going to be one or the other. He's going to be your number 1. And I mentioned that to you. You started laughing. And you're like, I think our lists are very different. I'm like, that's not even what I'm saying. My number 1 is this what I think yours is.
And
now I don't even know.
Say what those rumbles were because I don't want to have a spoiler at all. But I will tell you that they did not make my list because the final 4s weren't strong. The finishes were very strong, but the final 4s were not good.
And I don't agree with that. The 2 that I shot you,
okay, yeah, they were 10 seconds long each.
Oh my God. So I have no idea where you're going here tonight.
Well, the
You're,
criteria
pro-
is star.
you're probably gonna throw me some fucking deep cuts of a Rumble I haven't watched in fucking years.
The
Yeah.
criteria is star power is a huge one. Drama, action. The finish has a part in it as well, but it's not the be all end all.
Well, or else the whole list would be 1997.
Well, yeah, 97, great finish. Was it a
Best
good
finish of
Final
all time.
Four though?
I don't know. Ask Glenn Jacobs.
Well, yeah, anything that has a fake diesel in it, I don't know if it's gonna make the cut.
What the fuck were they thinking putting him in the Final Four?
And
Seriously.
technically, he should have been in that match in February because he was in the Final Four. And Vader and Taker both went out before him. So technically, he was the third last person in the Royal Rumble. Next to Austin, technically, he was the second last person in the Rumble. You know what? I'm getting the petition. We want fake Diesel to get a title shot. Start growing your hair out, Mayor Jacobs, you weirdo.
You weirdo. Yeah, stop giving a fuck about.
Well, speaking of weirdos, Vince McMahon's not in the WWE anymore.
Okay, I was tossing around whether or not we were going to discuss this.
Not in big detail, I don't think.
Because it's been discussed ad nauseum by everybody else online. Obviously, it has to be mentioned, but I don't want to go into detail because in 11 months from now, I guarantee we'll be talking about it on the year-end show. You know what I mean?
It's my year-end show. I usually focus on more in-ring stuff than news stories.
Yeah, but we still talk about news stories on the in the between about the, we talk about the year, right? So
I'm hoping by the end of the year that none of us are even thinking or talking about Vince McMahon, and we don't talk about him.
Here's what I have to ask you. Everybody's saying now they're gonna give him the Benoit treatment. And I want to know what people think that even means. Because people seem to think that WWE has erased Benoit from their lineage, which is bullshit. You can find all of Benoit's matches on the network.
You just can't find his name.
They just don't talk. Well, they just don't print his name. It's kind of like Voldemort, you know. He who shall not be named. But going forward, they just stopped talking about him, and I think that's what they have to do with this.
Yeah.
You can't erase his past. He's too big of. He's the biggest part of the company. Not to mention, like, forget all the backstage shit. You go to the years 1996 through 1990 or through 2004, and he's one of the biggest characters on the show. You know
Not to mention he's the commentator all throughout the 80s and the late 70s.
And all the 90s, yeah. So you can't erase him. He's too big of a part of the television program. What you can do is just stop fucking talking about him from this point on.
Which
I had a conversation with some friends earlier today, and I think I may be on the unpopular opinion side of it. One of my friends, I'm going to leave him nameless because he's not here to defend himself. He basically said, you know, fuck Riddle, fuck Marty Scurll, fuck Velveteen Dream, fuck all these guys. Like, I don't have respect for any of these guys. Pretty much anybody who had an accusation of any sort against them is like, fuck them, get rid of them. I never want to talk about them again. You know, why the fuck would CVV bring on these fucking people on their show? People are giving CVV shit for being too soft on these people. And it got me thinking. I have given thought to bringing a couple of people who have accusations on them on the show. And what does being soft on them mean? When I bring them on, I want to talk about wrestling. We're not that show. And you know what? Neither is Chris Van Vliet. Why would he bring on? And they're saying, oh, they were too soft. I mean, they didn't talk about the accusations. Yeah, they did. He did talk about the accusations. What did they want? Was it a witch hunt? They wanted to jump on and go, fuck you, you child banger. Do people not realize this? And this is where I came and said, listen, there are some kind of open and shut cases. The Vince McMahon thing, the evidence is there. The evidence is in our face. The evidence is everywhere.
And the history is there as well. This is going back to the 70s and 80s, man.
And the history is there. I equated it to OJ Simpson. It's one of those things where, yeah, he was never found guilty, but you fucking know because it's there, it's in front of you. But then there's the ones like your Marty Skruls and your Velveteen Dreams and even your Matt Riddles, where yes, the accusations are there, but the proof isn't there. So I'm not defending anybody. I'm not sitting here going, well, he's innocent. But I don't know he's innocent. But I also don't know that he's guilty. So I need to treat everybody the way I would want to be treated because it really makes me think. A pissed off ex-girlfriend could make a claim tomorrow that I beat and raped her. And I would lose my entire life. For what? You know what I mean? I have to think like that. Is that what's happening to some people? Some people, probably. Some people, no. And in this case, I don't think that's what's happening to Vince McMahon at all. Because like you said, the history is there. This goes all the way back to...
This is just one case that we know about.
This goes all the way back to...
The referee.
Rita Chatterley? Or
yeah,
was it Rita Chatterley or Mike McGurk?
No, Mike McGurk was the ring announcer. Rita Chatterley was the referee.
I always mix them up. It goes all the way back there, probably even farther back. Forget the things he's done on screen, which
he's also got he's been charged and the charges were dropped about like assaulting massage workers and doing stuff like that as well, right?
So this is the one where I'm ready to be like, yeah, I do think he's guilty, and I don't want to spend a lot of time giving him props on this show. Am I going to sit here as a wrestling fan and say, hey, man, that man is responsible for my fandom because he gave me the product that brought me into the business. He gave me the product that I loved since I was 6 years old. He's done a lot for my fandom, 100%. But, he doesn't make him a good person. No. And going forward, I think we're going to spend I've had a couple of Vince McMahon lists in my back pocket. I have. I don't think I'll ever use them. I don't want to give him the focus, the spotlight anymore. You know what I mean? That's done and over. Are we going to sit here and pretend Vince McMahon didn't exist for the last 50 years? No. Of course not.
Chris Benoit was one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, but I can separate the wrestling and the real life.
I'll do a Chris Benoit list long before I do a Vince McMahon list.
Yeah, I don't see us doing either one of them ever, but I'm with you. Like, well, I mean, I guess what Benoit did is way worse, right? I mean, we shouldn't even that's a different road. Like, let's not even go down.
At the end of the day, that's a whole different topic, right?
Yeah, that's a whole. And I'm not defending Benoit at all. Of course. And not with Vince.
And that's what I'm trying to get at. We're not defending anybody, but at the same time, you and I are not members of a jury. You and I are not judges. You and I are not lawyers. You and I are not police officers. You and I are podcasters on a fucking show where it's supposed to be fun and about wrestling. We're in no place to sit here and talk about who's guilty and who's not.
There's going to be big fallout from this, so we're already starting to see it. Looks like Brock Lesnar is the first,
and that's what I do want to talk about before we get into Rumble. What happens to the company at this point? Thank God the sale went through.
Yeah,
because if TKO doesn't take over, if WWE is still a standalone product, nobody can stop Vince. It's Vince's company. Nobody can kick him out. They can try to do a vote of no confidence and get him out of there, but
isn't that what they did last time?
Yeah, but it doesn't work. So this time for the first time in his life, he has a boss. And that boss's name is Ari Emanuel. And Ari Emanuel,
he doesn't fuck around.
He doesn't fuck around. Now, do I trust that he's being fully transparent with us? No. But at least he's doing something.
I think they're going to clean
I
house, Mike. I think
have,
you're going to see
have
everyone
you
go.
have you listened to John Pollock this week?
I've read his article he put out. I haven't listened to him.
John was very tough on certain people, namely Triple H.
Yeah, he
And
was not happy about, and I understand that as well.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. That was a Royal Rumble post interview. That I don't think that was the time or place.
When are you going to
Now,
get a press conference?
that is where what TKO is doing wrong. They should be holding a press conference. Ari Emanuel should be holding a press conference to discuss this.
Yeah, but you can't have an
That's
open
not
forum.
that's not Triple H's job. It's not Triple
It's
H's
his
job to come out.
father-in-law, and Triple H is running the
My-
show right now.
That's my point exactly. You can't expect me. You can't get mad at a man for not throwing his family member under the fucking bus.
I'm
when he
not.
comes,
I'm not mad
when he-
about that. I don't think
No,
he
but
should
John
throw him under
Pollock
the
is-
bus. I think.
John Pollock seems to think he should have.
I think that there should have been a better prepared answer than we had a good week. That's a terrible. That's not a good week. You had a good event.
I do. Well, no, up until the accusation, it was a great week. The Rock comes on as a fucking board member. They make a multi-billion-dollar deal with Netflix. The Royal Rumble is on their way. Then this one big black cloud came and pissed on everything.
Yeah.
And his job is to talk about these things. His job, he is in charge of the on-screen product. That's his job. Nick Khan should be the one coming out and talk about Vince McMahon. Ari Emanuel should be the one.
They should have done something there.
100%. I agree with you, but people are shitting on the wrong person in this degree.
But he's in that role. He is in a role, but he is. He is a high-powered person in this company.
But he was he's not Vince McMahon's boss. He's not he's not a man
Vince's
who's
successor. He's his protege. What's the word I'm looking for?
Technically Nick Khan is. So
I mean, they've announced that they're 50-50 split. Triple H is
really.
That's what I heard when they
I thought Nick was still like the man, and
even so they're right there, like they're neck and neck.
Well, I do agree with you in the fact that something needs to be like they do need to do something. They need to talk about this.
I think it's too late now.
They can't sweep it under the rug.
I think it's too late now. I think they're
You can't. I don't know.
You had the whole. Well, they had time to media. Like you're telling me that the WWE doesn't have somebody that can come in there and be like, "Hey guys, we're gonna do a press conference after the Royal Rumble." Obviously, because every respectable wrestling journalist is going to be in the attendance there, you're probably going to get asked about Vince. This is what you should say. Oh yeah, we're not respected. I said respected, but like you need to be like, hey, Hunter, you will get asked about Vince. This is the company response that we're going with.
Yeah,
and that didn't happen.
Yeah, no.
And that didn't happen.
You're not wrong.
The WWE as a whole dropped the ball, and Hunter. His answer was terrible. You can't say we had a good week with these accusations. I don't care if fucking whatever. Andre the Giant came back from the dead and fucking blessed gold on everybody. Like I don't know, whatever. But it's not a good week.
It just sucks that one man's actions can destroy an entire company.
It's more than one man though. It's Vince.
Because it shouldn't.
It's Vince.
It shouldn't reflect.
And Brock and Laurinaitis and. Who else? What else is coming out here? Like, probably like you think a guy like Bruce Pritchard's got his hands clean? I don't know.
Oh fuck no!
Right?
You see, Ronda Rousey fucking hit on that pretty hard.
If I'm Endeavor, if I'm TKO, I think you got to wipe Vince's whole regime out. Why? Very convenient timing that Kevin Dunn left the company.
Yeah, no shit. I was thinking that same thing.
That little weasel fuck, man. Although I will say I did notice his absence at the Royal Rumble. I did think that there was a couple sloppy camera cuts.
Well, you're training a whole new staff now. Like you're right. But you know what? I also didn't have a goddamn seizure. So there's give and take.
100%. But I did. It was noticeable.
Yeah, but that's gonna happen. Now, if it's still sloppy in, let's say, a month from now. Like they have zero time to get their shit together. But I was giving them a pay-per-view. Now, Kevin Dunn, you left right before WrestleMania, so you kind of fucked everybody. But
They'll be
at the same
fine.
time, like you said, fucking weasel, like fucking let him go. It's gonna be interesting to see who else leaves, like because now you got I think Pritchard's got to go.
Yeah.
Richard's got to go. He's too close to Vince McMahon. Too close. I don't know the relationship of Triple H and Vince McMahon, but the fact of the matter is he is related by marriage.
I don't think Hunter's going anywhere.
I hope, to be honest, I hope
And
not.
unless he partook in some of this shit, which that's
Yeah.
all, and that nothing like that has come out. So when I say
What
that, I'm
what
not
what about
saying
Nick? What about Nick Khan?
Nick Khan is fucking cash money, man. That guy is not messing around with that shit.
I just hope, because you are the one who said Vince's whole regime is gone, and well, Nick was
Nick,
Vince.
I don't look at Nick Khan as a Vince regime.
Well, he was Vince's right hand man for years.
That's different era though. You know what I mean? There's a difference
Yeah.
between this
Okay,
regime.
you're talking about the old boys, basically.
Oh, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay. So
See ya,
well,
Laurinaitis. See ya, Pritchard. See ya.
Pritchard. Well, Laurinaitis has already been gone.
Yeah.
Laurinaitis left a long time ago. If I'm Pat Patterson, I'm happy to be dead, because you know Pat's fucking hands.
Well, he already had those scandals in the 80s with all the ring boys, right?
Yeah.
You Gerald Briscoes, who knows what's going to come out? Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
Taker, JBL, like, who knows? And again, it's all.
Well, this really explains why Brock got so pissed off the first time that Vince quit. Remember? He walked out and everything like that. And you thought, it's like, really? Is he that close to Vince? Like, what's going on? Oh, oh.
Well, he said that he looks at Vince like a father, right?
And even John Cena. This is after the retirement and the allegations came out. John Cena said, "I don't care what that man does, I will always love him." Yeah. What? You can't say that.
I mean, you can. You can. I don't know if it's a popular thing to say. Obviously not.
But I'd like to know if Cena's standing by that a year later.
I mean, Cena, Vince, how much money did Vince make Cena? Vince made Cena. Like, that's tough. That's a tough spot for guys like Cena and Taker and those guys, because, like, obviously you can't be, you're morally like, this is disgusting, but you owe so much to the man as well. Like that. And that is like, they all look at Vince like a father. That's got to be hard that hurts,
So a company like Slim Jim waited until the day of Royal Rumble to decide whether or not they were going to continue their contract with WWE. And they did. They continued their contract because Vince McMahon was ousted. If you are a company with WWE, if you're a company that has major money invested in WWE, such as, I don't know, Netflix, and you just penciled this deal the day before this news comes out, what do you do?
I don't do anything.
Do you stick?
Yeah, Vince is gone.
Yeah.
New regime. Like, TKO is different than WWE. And now if the
TKO
merger didn't happen, I'm out.
I know that, you know that. But to your general consumer, person who knows nothing about professional wrestling, they're sitting there and they see the news. Netflix in bed with WWE. Wait, that Vince McMahon guy did what? Oh, fuck Netflix. Do you think that hurts Netflix? You think this is going to hurt Netflix at all?
No, not at all. Netflix is bigger than all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
The WWE is just a fucking another spoke in the Netflix wheel.
Yeah, but they're not that huge. They've been falling off for several reasons. This is probably why they had to sign this deal with WWE.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. And if it wasn't for these goddamn allegations, that Triple H is right. That would have been a massive week. Because, you woke up that morning and find out that Dwayne Johnson signed on as a fucking member of the board. And then the Netflix deal comes to the same fucking day. This week should have gone down as one of the greatest weeks in that company's history.
Now the floodgates are opening up. Stick around the next couple of weeks and see what comes out. But what has come out is the winners of the Royal Rumble.
All right, let's talk about the Royal Rumble. You've only watched the two Rumbles, right?
Yeah, I didn't watch anything else.
That's fine. People are raving about this four-way match.
I have not heard those raves.
Wei Ting called it the best match on the card of all four matches. Wei Ting, I think I have nothing but respect for you, sir. Please give me the number of your fucking drug dealer because you are wrong. That match was so fucking boring. I did not dig it. The match between Kevin Owens and
Paul.
Logan Paul was good, but I'll be honest with you, man, we've seen better from Logan.
Well, Kevin Owens fought that match with a fractured foot. He's missing time now too.
Oh shit!
He fractured his foot a couple weeks ago.
But everyone's getting injured. It must be Mania season.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's quickly talk.
What do you think of the Rumble overall? Thumbs up, down, or middle?
Middle, because the two filler matches were met. I thought the women's Rumble is one of my favorite Rumbles. It's fantastic.
I really enjoyed the women's Royal Rumble. I thought it was spectacular.
But the men's Rumble was just okay. I'm not going to shit on it. It was good enough.
It was all right,
but it wasn't great.
Nothing exciting really happened in the men's Royal Rumble, and I thought the crowd died.
Unless you're a massive Andrade fan, like nothing else happened.
I'm a massive fan of Bayley. Get me that Clay Wilson Royal Rumble pool, baby.
Yeah, baby, good for you.
3 years.
The women's Rumble for me was a highlight so far. I was gonna say of the year, but I mean it's only January. But there's nobody on this show that doesn't know that Tyler and I are both big TNA fans. And we're both big fans of friend of the show, former current Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace.
Absolutely.
I love the fact that they didn't give her the Mickie James treatment.
They booked her strong.
What I meant by that, though, is in 2022, in 2022, they built to Mickie James, which made sense. It was the first time this was going to happen. So they had to build to it. They had to announce that. It was a big deal. You had to. But the fact that first Naomi comes out, and and the commentators allude to the fact that she's actually back with the company. You're like, oh fuck, okay, wow, this is crazy. I guess this is our big surprise. And then I think it was the number 5 spot.
Yeah, 5 or 6.
And then Jordynne comes out, and you're like,
did you recognize her music right away?
Right as soon as those sirens hit, I lost it. She comes out. She's wearing the brand new TNA title. She looks amazing. And tell me the last time commentators put over somebody that great. And they've given me faith because you and I discussed this off air on how I was afraid, like, you were really hoping that Okada may show up at the Rumble. And I have this fear in me that they have this mentality of, people don't know who Okada is.
By the way, Pro Wrestling Tees has been informed to remove all of Okada's merchandise from their website.
Really?
Because I'm pretty sure he signed with the WWE.
Oh, that makes sense. So Okada, I was afraid that if Okada came in, they were going to give him that treatment of, almost not quite as bad as Nick Aldis, but on that line. But they've renewed my faith because they brought in Jordynne Grace, who's never been in WWE, who is the biggest name in a women's division in a different company, and they put her over. They put that company over like $1 million fucking dollars. They made that TNA Women Knockouts championship mean something.
Yeah, they gave her eliminations. They did great.
They put over the title, they put over the wrestler, they put over the company. I could not be more happy about the way they treated that entire situation. It was beautiful to see her, Naomi and Jordynne hug in the ring.
And then start brawling. I love that.
Yeah, loved it. Loved everything about it. It was the highlight of that pay-per-view for me to see Jordynne in there. And Bianca Belair, put her out, which is, I think, the right person to do that.
Yeah.
Because you were thrown out of the ring by one of the most successful women's wrestlers of the last decade.
Jordan said in an interview today that she would welcome Bianca to come to TNA for a title shot.
Amazing. What are your thoughts on the debut of Jade Cargill?
Thought it was perfect. I think it would have been a
I
humongous mistake if they would have made her win.
Oh, 100%. I'm glad they didn't. I hope she hits her stride soon. She looked petrified.
You think so? I thought she looked like
no,
$1 million.
I thought she did great, but I thought she looked scared as fuck.
I did not see that.
And that's not a judgment because it's the Royal Rumble. It's as far as I'm concerned, I know some people call it SummerSlam, but as far as I'm concerned, it's the second biggest show of the year. It's important. You're on the road to WrestleMania. You're making your debut here. You know, some of the greatest names of all time have done what you're doing right now, such as AJ Styles. So to come and do this, I'd be scared too. But then let's put out what they did with her. The stuff with Nia Jax was so well done and so perfect. This was the best booking of Nia Jax I've seen in years.
They've really done a good job with booking her in general since her return. They put her over Becky. They just had her layout Rhea Ripley.
And if it was all meant to just come to a head to put Jade Cargill over, so be it. Because it worked. It worked.
I think you see those two work at Elimination Chamber.
Let's go back for a minute about Okada. The rumor has it that Okada's going to come and go straight to working in NXT. Is that what you do? Do you put him in NXT? Normally, with almost anybody else, I agree because you got to come in, you got to learn the WWE style, and that's where you do it. But there's a small group of people that I think you can't do that with, and not because they're too big or they deserve the main push right away. It has nothing to do with that. I don't want them losing steam. If Okada comes in and spends a year downstairs, I feel it's not going to mean as much when he comes up. He's going to lose all that steam.
Did it hurt or help Nakamura, in your opinion?
It helped Nakamura, I think, but Nakamura is not Okada. When Nakamura came over, I think a lot of people didn't know who he was.
There's a pro and con to it. The pro is that it gets Okada in a WWE system and teaches him how to work, with their cameras and their, hard cam, because it's different in New Japan, right? It's a lot different, and it's different.
Yeah.
It's similar in TNA, but he's only had a cup of coffee in TNA.
Exactly.
I would still put him on the main roster personally. I wish they would have debuted him at the Royal Rumble and had him win. I just think, how do you make a superstar in one night? That's how you do it.
Yeah.
And all those people. I know I'm in the minority in that, but all those people that are like, well, we don't know who Okada is. Well, you'll fucking know who he is. No one's ever debuted in the Royal Rumble and won it.
True enough. Last thing I want to talk about before we move on to the list, I want to talk about a guy who I thought was booked great in the Rumble, looked great in the Rumble. It just is booked great overall lately, and that's Dirty Dom Mysterio.
He's the best.
I think they're doing a great job with Dom right now, and that was no different in the Royal Rumble itself. I think there was some great stuff done in the Royal Rumble. They put
the hot tag spot with R-Truth was fun.
Fucking hilarious. They put him in for a decent amount of time. He got a couple good eliminations. I like where they're going with Dom, but I want to ask you something about the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day, I think, is now the biggest stable in WWE. I think they've overthrown the Bloodline.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
As far as I'm concerned, I think they're the most popular. I think they're doing great. Rhea, I don't know what they're going to have to do with Rhea soon, because Rhea's almost at that point where she's not even a heel anymore.
Her and Dom together are.
So here's my question. Do you feel like arguably the man who is supposed to be the biggest star in this faction, Finn Balor, has fallen by the wayside? Because the spotlight seems to be on Damian Priest, who is now the de facto leader. He's making the decisions. He's cutting the promos. Then you have Rhea and Dom doing their thing. Finn is just kind of there.
Well, Finn had his moment, though. I think Finn helped establish all of them. got to remember Finn was the
Well,
one that had
for
Finn
for
had the big
sure.
feud with Edge, right? When Judgment Day first got rolling.
You're 100% right. Yes, he had
He
it. He had his time, but he was supposed to be. I thought he was the leader, and now it just seems like he's just
I
kind of
I
there.
think I think
JD
because of
McDonough gets
Finn,
more time than he does.
well, and I think that's what the goal is to elevate these guys, right? And I think
So
because of Finn, I think they've all gotten that chance to be elevated.
so what do you do now? You can't leave a talent like Finn Balor just kind of sitting there. Um, Me personally, I think I end up moving him out of Judgment Day. I feud him with Priest. I feud him with McDonough. Get him out of there.
His contract is
What
coming up too, eh?
what do you do with Finn? Do you keep him in
I
right there? Do you keep him in WWE? Do you start giving him like? Does he deserve another? Not deserve. Should he get another main event push down the line, or is
I mean, a
he?
guy like Finn can always get there.
Yeah,
I would have him and Priest. I would have him cost Priest the Money in the Bank cash in out of jealousy,
yeah.
and then have them go at Mania. I don't know if you want to turn Priest face or turn Finn face, one of the two. But I would go that route for WrestleMania personally. And then I don't know, man. The future is up to Finn. They have not talked any new contract stuff with him yet. His contract ends shortly after Mania. Maybe he
Yeah.
puts over Priest at Mania and then he takes a powder.
We'll see. Last thing, it seems as if CM Punk has torn his tricep. The last time he tore his tricep, he was out of AEW for almost a year. What does this mean for the WrestleMania picture? Is he out?
Yeah. Oh, he's done. He's out.
He's done. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
that
done.
that's been confirmed. Yeah,
Yep, confirmed, done. He's not going to be at WrestleMania. We don't know if Seth is even going to be at WrestleMania at this point. He's still pushing on, like
also injured. Yeah,
he's pushing on, like he's going to be there. He did the promo with Cody there, which, by the way, it was such the right move to put Cody over in the Royal Rumble. I'm really happy they did.
yeah, sure.
He needed it more than Punk for sure.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Um,
I was hoping when it came down to that final four, I wanted to see Gunther get the rub. I really did. But Cody, you know, was it the right decision? Of course it was.
I just think that you slide. I think it's a pretty easy fix though, because Seth has lost his opponent, Gunter's lost his opponent. You just slide Gunter to face Seth.
I think they're still on the fence whether or not I think they're still working on this Rock thing. And that's why they're still teasing Seth and Cody. Because Seth comes out and says, I'm begging you to face me. They're still teasing that.
I've heard Rock's off the table.
And that's not what I've heard at all.
When do you bring him back? How do you set this up? Like, you got to start soon.
You gotta start now. But well, we say that, but that's in our generation. That's in our that's how we like things. How many storylines have had started 3 weeks before WrestleMania in the last fucking 15 years?
Yeah, but not a match like that. Like, and this is one that The Rock is really serious about. I think he wants to make sure he has the time to dedicate to it as well.
No. Well, then they shouldn't have done the big tease then.
Well, I think it's good. I think that promo elevated Seth's belt a little bit, which desperately needs it. You know, Seth put himself over, put his belt over.
Oh yeah, that part. Yeah, I'm saying that Rock shouldn't have done the tease.
Oh well, that's The Rock. He's been teasing that match for 2 years now.
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened if they're not going with it. Anyways, we digress. We have an entire list to do.
Yeah, this will be. It won't be too long of a list.
You worked.
Can you believe I actually did a list?
What's just under hard? Flaccid. You worked
Viagra. I worked Viagra on this list.
You worked Flaccid.
I worked Flaccid on this list. I watched pretty much all these. I remembered some of them. Some of them I remembered more fondly than others. A couple hard cuts there. Nothing that you're gonna like, obviously, but yeah. Criteria is star power, excitement of the final four, drama, and action.
All right.
And let's get right into the number 7 then.
Let's get ready to argue.
Yes, because my number 7 is a massive one, and we're going all the way back to the year 2002.
See, and this is one of the ones when I said I know what your number one is. I said 2002 or another one.
Yes.
So the fact that I'm glad it's on your list at least. But all right, talk about it.
Well, let's look at the final four and their order of elimination. Austin, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Angle, and Triple H returning from injury. You had a great story with Triple H. You always have Austin, who's dangerous. Mr. Perfect's return was a great story, and Kurt Angle. And these four. The reason why it's so high on the list is because the actual final four action itself wasn't very long. Austin got dumped out pretty quick. And even like the action in between with Perfect and Angle and Hunter was good. It was very good, but it wasn't like, as in my opinion at least, as exciting or as good as some of the other stuff on this list.
All right, but,
But
talk about Star Power.
oh yeah,
Let's-
man, that's
let's
a
talk
great
about-
one.
And that was the return of Mr. Perfect. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It was, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of heat for my number 6 because the Star Power isn't as impressive because of one name, but this
Okay.
one name doesn't matter. And
So
he
that's
is-
how I feel about another year that I know is not on your list. We'll talk about later. So I want to see where you're going,
I'm going back to the year 2001.
which is my other pick for your number one.
Fantastic.
I said for sure your number one is either no. Sorry. There was a
No,
different
it
year.
wasn't.
2000
Even-
yeah. No, it was different.
Billy Gunn hurts the final four here. Billy Gunn, The Rock, Kane, and Steve Austin are your final four.
God has star power. Come on.
Okay, but not like star. Like he's a huge star. Hall of Famer.
Yes.
No disrespect to Billy Gunn when I say that, but he's not
I don't.
that upper
I don't
level.
think I don't think he hurts this final.
But he was also not in it for very long. This one was great, and going back and looking at it, it maybe could have moved down a little bit.
Why is this the number 6 and not the number 7? Like to me, star power alone, I think he switched these two.
The storytelling in this one was out of this world. You have Kane running the gauntlet, setting the Royal Rumble record for most eliminations.
Yeah.
His hair was the frizziest it's ever been. Great job, Kane. You have a great showdown between The Rock and Austin, teasing their WrestleMania match, which I love that spot in Royal Rumbles. They have a great brawl. They have a great layout. And then everyone thinks that it's going to be The Rock and Austin. That's your final two. But Kane dumps out The Rock and he goes out. And you have Austin and Kane. And Austin's a bloody mess. He hits him with the chair a bunch of time. And finally...
And I remember watching at this point going, holy shit, they're giving Kane his day because no one's ever won 3 Rumbles. They're not going to do that.
Yep.
Austin doesn't need to win a 3rd Rumble. And then Austin pulls it off, and you're like, well, he's Stone Cold Steve Austin, so yeah, sure.
And I believe it's the only time. Oh no, I shouldn't say that. But it was the Rock and Austin at their peak. You have that either one of these guys could win thing that goes a long way for me. Like how Cody and Punk at this year's Rumble, that goes a long way for me.
For sure. All right.
Okay,
I don't hate it so far.
Number 5. We're going to the year 2006.
Yeah, you have to remind me.
The final four: Rob Van Dam.
Yeah.
Triple H.
I'm sorry, is that friend of the show, Rob Van Dam?
Friend of the show, Rob Van Dam.
Okay, the same guy, right? Okay, cool.
Triple H, Randy Orton, and your winner, Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, great Final Four. I'll give it to you.
The action was phenomenal here.
I have bad memories of this Royal Rumble because I was so disappointed that Ray won. That I remember feeling so deflated.
You might be the only person then, because everybody was like, he's doing it for Eddie.
Yeah, to me it was just.
I
looked at it as pandering. You know what I mean? I wasn't a fan of it at the time.
Ray ran the gauntlet. Him and Hunter ran the gauntlet, which everybody does nowadays. So, don't even get me started on this, Rand. I don't need to see somebody go a fucking hour in every fucking Royal Rumble now. Different story, different time.
We had, was it the women? I think it was the women's Rumble. We had 2 people go over an hour this year.
Yeah, and
2.
last year 2 people went over an hour too. They're breaking the record 3 years in a row. It's ridiculous.
I mean 2 in 1 Rumble. Not
same thing with last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with last year.
Because
Rhea and Liv Morgan.
Okay. Because last year I knew it was Rhea and Gunther. Sorry.
Yeah, well, no, Rhea and Liv Morgan both did in the women's last year, and then Gunther did it in the fall of the next Rumble. I'm like, what the fuck, man? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Either way, I digress. You want to talk about drama on this one? First of all, the final four broke into a tag team match with Randy and Triple H against RVD and Ray, and the tag team work of RVD and Ray was so fluid, so awesome.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
RVD got dumped out. So then you got I love the classic babyface and Pearl. Got your two heels working over them, but everybody just wanted Ray, except for you. Everybody just wanted Ray to win so bad. And then when Hunter got dumped out, it was so good. And the finish with Orton and the power bomb, it was fantastic.
You had, at this point in time, you had two of my favorite wrestlers of all time in the ring here, and that was Triple H and Randy Orton. So of course I wanted one of those two guys to win. You know, and I would have been okay with Rob Van Dam winning too.
Just not Ray. Fuck you, Ray. We're
Yeah,
all
just
on
not
the
Ray.
Dom train. Where we
Yeah.
want Dom.
Yeah. No.
Number 4, we're going to the year 2010.
Okay.
Our final four: the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, the Animal Dave Batista,
Yes.
John Cena, and the Rated R Superstar, the winner making his return, Edge.
All right, I'm gonna sit here and wait until and let you tell me why this isn't your number 1 or 2.
I will tell you why. This almost was my number 1 just because of Shawn Michaels alone.
Yeah. Well, but Shawn Michaels alone, some of the biggest names in the history of that company are in that list you just said. What did you say it was? It was Shawn, Cena, Edge, and who?
Batista.
And Batista.
Yes.
All Hall of Famers. All like that's an insane list of people.
Star power alone, this might be probably the biggest, if not the second biggest one. Star power alone.
Yeah.
But the
2010, who won this Rumble?
Edge, his return. This is the one where Shawn did the amazing sell job. Remember, Shawn was trying to get to win the Rumble so he could fight Taker, and he did that sell job after.
Yeah.
The problem is, though, after that, the Rumble like almost ended immediately. There was not a lot of action after that.
This was the Shawn Michaels story.
And the finish was very anticlimactic. Like Cena just got dumped over so easily, which I didn't like. Yeah. The actual action itself was a bit of a letdown, but because of Shawn and the star power, it hits the number 4 spot without a question.
Well, it's cool you're talking about John Cena and Batista, because did you know that those two guys are the only people to almost win a Rumble at the same time? They're the only ones. It never happened before them, ever.
Fair.
Michael Cole.
Yeah, Michael Cole, 1994.
No one's ever won a Rumble. No two people have ever won a Rumble. You fucking idiot.
It's only happened once, and it was 1994, Michael Cole.
Yes.
It did not happen when Cena and Batista did it.
Oh.
Where are we at here? Number 3?
Number 3.
We're going to the year 2008.
Okay.
We're going with Kane, Batista, Triple H, and the returning John Cena.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. This place was just electric.
This is the first time that I'm not going to question your placement.
The final 3, especially in this one, once because Kane got dumped out pretty quick, but Batista, Triple H, and Cena really had a good, and all 3 of them you could have made a case for any of them winning, which was really cool as well. And then the final 2 with Triple H and Cena was really, really good.
This is the perfect spot for this for this match, for sure.
My number 2 was my number 1 without a question the entire time until I went back.
You told me over a week ago that your number 1 was locked.
Yeah.
And then you told me 2 days ago that your number 1 was still locked. And then today you told me that your number 1 changed.
Well, no, I texted you on Friday and I said, I think my number 3 jumped to my number 1.
Okay.
And I'm keeping it like that because I was drunk when I watched it, and drunk Tyler's never wrong. But I'm second guessing myself here. I am second guessing myself. I might
drunk Mike likes to titty fuck Dusty Rhodes.
Oh my god. I'm going to stick with drunk Tyler here, and I'm going to say my number 2 is the year 2007.
Okay.
Your final 4: Randy Orton.
Yes. Okay.
Edge.
Yeah. Okay. This is what I'm thinking it is.
And the best final 2 in the history of Royal Rumble history: HBK and the Undertaker.
Undertaker. I'm gonna reserve my judgment until I know what your number one is, but this should be your number one.
I am going back and forth as we speak on this. This was really hard. You need to go back and
But was the final four? Yeah, remind me what goes down. Was the final four that great, or was the final two amazing?
The final two was super amazing. Final four was very good. The only
Okay.
problem is that it was treated like a final three instead of a final four because Sean was hurt on the outside. So it was a 2-on-1 beatdown of Taker. And then Sean finally came in and hit two great super kicks to eliminate RKO. And then we got to the final two. So the final two is like this would be my number one just based on that. But we're talking final fours as a whole.
Like if your list is the final two,
greatest finishes in Royal Rumble history, this is number one.
This is this.
Sorry,
it's second for me. It's two for me. But that's. I'm not going to argue with you. Our tastes are different. It's 97 for me, and then this. But with that said, if we're doing a list of if you're taking the other two out, it's who are the best two finalists ever. This is your number one.
Yeah,
hands down, no question. One of the greatest finishes of a pay-per-view in WWE. It was amazing.
And Taker got his first Royal Rumble win.
And how amazing was it? But the very next year, they opened together.
I love that. These two Rumbles,
they went from the final two to the first two.
2007 and 2008. 2007 is a criminally underrated Royal Rumble in general. That's a criminally underrated pay-per-view in general, actually.
This is where the 4 years of the Shawn Michaels Undertaker story really started getting told.
Yep. This was the first chapter in it.
We had 4 years of this beautiful story that was drawn out and ultimately led to the end of the career of Shawn Michaels. What a beautiful story. That's one of my favorite stories in the history of WWE. Mm-hmm. And it started right here, right now. Like, this is where this begins.
I'm excited for you to hate my number one. But you have to go back and rewatch it. Okay. Because the star power does not come close to anything else that we've talked about. But so the
in-ring,
the final four is the best in Royal Rumble history for a final four competition wise.
Just strictly in-ring action.
It's what did it. It's what put me over the edge. I'm going to the year 2018.
All right, remind me.
Your final four.
Yeah.
Finn Balor.
Uh-huh.
John Cena.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns. And your winner, Shinsuke Nakamura.
All right, so I'm going to call you out and say you're wrong.
You need to go back and rewatch it.
No, that's not what you're wrong about. In what world is this not star power?
Well, no, I'm saying compared to The Undertaker, HBK, Batista. You know what I mean? Like the star power is good, but like when you look at some of the other ones on here, like Edge, Cena, Batista, Michaels, or Randy, Edge, Taker, Michaels, like the star power is not the same level there.
I don't hate this. I think it's a solid number two. Me personally, I switch your 2 and 1. And then you have a really good list because you have a perfect top 3.
If when we get off this recording, I would like you to go back and rewatch his final four.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal. They tell this amazing story of like the new school versus the old school because it's like Nakamura and Finn paired up and Cena and Roman paired up. The crowd is absolutely mental for all of this.
Which is interesting that you consider Roman to be old school.
Well, he's like at that point, he's been main eventing for years. You know what I mean?
It's just fitting because I think Finn's been in the business a lot longer than Roman.
I get it, but I mean, from a WWE standpoint, Finn and Nakamura are new to the main roster.
Yeah.
Right? They've only been up for, and Finn is coming back from an injury here. He's been hurt at this time, right? He's just coming back from that rotator cuff that he hurt. The crowd was insane for this. They hated Cena and Roman because this is when Roman was the new Cena, right? So to have those two together and the pairing of it and just all the action and they fought for a good amount of time and all the eliminations were well done. They all made sense and they all built to a great final two with Roman and Nakamura. And Nakamura, what a push he got. He eliminated Roman and Cena. Like crazy. This is the best Final Four in Royal Rumble history. Not the best Final Two, but even Roman and Nakamura did have a fantastic Final Two, though. It'd probably be in the top 3 of all time. This is the best Final Four performance in Royal Rumble history.
Would you like to know who agrees with you?
Yes.
Sportskeeda.
Oh yeah, eh?
You're gonna laugh at this. Can I read this to you?
I've read like one list. I don't know whose it was, and I hated everything on it. And I was like, I'm not reading any lists.
You're gonna laugh at this, okay? Sportskeeda is they only did a 4. Okay, they did a Final Four of Final Fours.
Makes sense.
This is gonna tickle your ego. They're number 4, 2010.
Good judgment.
Number 3, 2008.
Good judgment.
Number 2, 2007.
These guys might know what they're talking about.
Number 1, 2018.
Not bad there, guys.
Right? Not bad.
Uncle Bill and Sportskeeda there, eh?
So that's pretty good. I liked your list as a whole. I actually did. I can't poke holes in it. I would love, honestly, to find room somewhere in the 7 to 6 spot for 1990, just because I
Hercules,
love that.
Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, and Hulk Hogan.
Yes, I have a very special spot in my heart for that match.
I love that Royal Rumble as a whole, but that Final Four, other than Perfect's elimination, it wasn't spectacular.
I like it a lot. It's funny.
I like 91's Final Four better than 90, to be honest.
Really?
Oh. With the Bulldog, Brian Knobbs, Earthquake, and Hogan.
Yeah. Going into this, when you said this is what you're doing, I thought for sure my number 1 was locked. I said it's 97 because that's my year, man.
Terrible Final Four, great finish.
If we're talking finishes, it's a banger. It's a lock for number 1 for me.
Yeah, hard to argue.
But you sit down and you watch that Final Four.
Well, it's 9 seconds.
You bait with the criteria that you gave me, it just couldn't.
No, same thing with 92.
Is it one of the greatest stories told in a Royal Rumble?
Hell yeah.
100%. But
that's not what the list is.
But then who's in your Final Four? It's fucking
for what, 92? Listen to this Final Four. It should be on the list.
No, 97.
97 is well, it depends on what you do with Austin. Does his elimination count or no?
Technically he won it, so I guess no.
So then you don't even have a Final Four. Then you have a Final 3 because Vader and Taker got dumped at the same time, and then your Final 3 is Austin, Brett, and Fake Diesel.
Fake Diesel, yeah.
But I mean,
92 again. When you told me you're doing this list, like 92, The answer, if you're talking about Royal Rumble, it doesn't matter what the list is. The answer is always 1992 because it's the greatest Royal Rumble in the history of the Royal Rumble. Mm-hmm. But you're not wrong to keep it off the list.
Well, and the Final Four was really impressive too, eh?
And on paper, the star power, if this was solely on star power, this is on the list.
Do you remember who the 4th person was?
You have to remind me.
So the Final Four, like we all know the Final 3, Flair, Hogan,
Sid, and
Macho Man.
Fuck, yes. Yeah.
But he was only in it for about 10 seconds. Like Sid dumped him easy, and then they went right to the finish. There was no Final Four action.
Yeah.
2003 was an honorable mention for me. Batista, Kane, Taker, and Brock, with Brock winning. Okay.
2003 was the other one I thought would be your number 1.
No, the finish, it was too quick.
Yeah.
Like there was no...
Like star power alone, I thought 2002 or 2003 were going to be your ones.
I don't like Kane.
I know you don't like Kane.
2004, also an honorable mention. Jericho, Angle, Big Show, and Benoit.
I don't like Big Show.
No, fair. 2005 was an honorable mention with Ray, Edge, Cena, and Batista. Mm-hmm. And I think that was it. I think everything else made the list.
I'm just
Yeah.
very glad this wasn't my list.
Tough list.
Yeah.
And I would have just
So
been I would have just been yelling at you the whole time, going, "That's just the finish."
So yeah, I have a year to think of a really good Royal Rumble list for next year. Speaking of which, so in the next couple of weeks we are going to come out with the Capetta list, maybe next week, maybe the week after. But the week that we don't do Capetta, we need another list. I
Yeah, you
need your
haven't
help,
told me.
man.
You said you're working on your biggest list
Oh,
ever.
no,
Oh yeah,
no,
you did tell
no,
me.
no, I'm still working on that one.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
still
yeah.
it's coming. I'm
It's
working on
not
it.
coming.
It's good. It's I'm working on it. It's
Yeah,
big.
right.
It's gonna take a lot of work. I'm
It's
working on
not
it.
gonna happen.
But I need your help. What should we're getting into WrestleMania season, but we're not quite there yet. The Elimination Chamber is coming up. What's something topical? What should my next list be?
You could do something like best non-chamber matches at Elimination Chamber.
Ooh, I like that.
Off the top of my head, you could
I like
do
that a lot.
best moments. Where's Chamber? Australia?
In Australia, yeah.
Maybe best wrestling moments that happen in Australia. I don't know, but there's been a lot of shows over there.
7 reasons why I want to marry Rhea Ripley.
You could do a sheep herders list. Are they? Oh no, they're New Zealand.
Oh, nah, same thing.
Yeah,
You're
it's close
splitting
enough.
hairs here.
Yeah, it's close enough. You could do a bushwhacker list.
Who else is from Australia? Is Rhea Ripley's like the biggest Australian star ever, right? Like,
Yeah. I was
Buddy
gonna say,
Matthews.
is he Australian?
Yeah.
Outback Jack.
Yeah.
I can't think off the top of my head who's Australian.
The only two I can even think of is Rhea Ripley and Buddy Matthews, who, by the way, could be back on his way back home.
I heard
Could be
that.
back to WWE. Very, very true. Hey,
Yeah, that him and Malachi. That's what I've heard. Who knows?
yeah.
You never can tell. Wrestling's
Be
crazy. Wrestling's the
I mean,
best.
both their wives in WWE. It could serve them well to go back. So, yeah, we'll see. All right, man.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we did all right. We still got it.
This is the good thing about having interviews. We're tight to the time. We make sure we don't go over. We're so good. When you and I are just left to our own devices, we talk for 4.5 fucking hours and nobody gives a shit.
Fair.
But it's our show. We'll talk about what we want.
Yeah. Get your
I'll
own
go
show if you don't like it.
Yeah.
But subscribe to our YouTube page before you do it, all right?
I bet you can't debunk Dusty Rhodes like we can.
You're goddamn right.
With that said, welcome to a brand new year of Counted Out. We're really excited about 2024. We really are. We have a lot of stuff.
I'm the Grinch.
We're excited about the year 2024 in podcast land.
Oh,
your personal life has nothing to do. You have a fucking wedding to prepare for. You fucked yourself for this year. Like you're
just busy. Busy.
Yeah. You're just fucking there's talks about you getting back into the restaurant business. You're moving backwards, my friend. I don't know.
I don't know. The paycheck isn't moving backwards on that one, but
you're a psychopath.
That paycheck wouldn't be backwards, but who knows? Well, that's an off-air conversation, maybe.
You're doing it. You keep my life interesting because I just sit back and watch you. You're entertaining to me.
Ugh. I'm so tired.
2024,
but this is my escape for
2024 is going to be a huge year for Counted Out. I think we're going to do a lot of really cool things. We're going to keep working with Barry Wrestling. I got some fingers out there to do a little bit of work, not work like we do with Barry, but a little bit of work here and there with other indie promotions, just to get to talk to some really cool people and stuff like that. So that's on the horizon. I'm sure we're going to talk to some really cool fucking people this year. Lots of cool lists. We might get some places. We try to do at least one road trip a year. We, hopefully we'll get one of those in this year and do some fun stuff. The year's just starting. It's January. We have a whole other 11 months ahead of us. I'm fucking excited. I really am, because we just put 200 shows behind us. And
well, yeah, but now we got to put another 200 behind us. It seems like a lot of work.
Look what we did with those 200 shows, and we had no idea what the fuck we were doing.
Yeah, now we have 200 behind us.
Now we sort of kind of almost are really good at pretending to know what we're doing.
Speak for
So-
yourself.
So moving forward, man, the sky is the limit. I'm so excited for this year. I think we're going to grow this product really big this year. I really do. I think we're gonna get those subscribers. We're gonna get those views. We're gonna get those listeners. We're gonna get in front of people this year. I have a good feeling about this year.
Everything you're
please,
saying,
Can you please pretend to be fucking excited?
everything you're saying is true. It's
I hate
damn
you
true.
so much. It's this. Oh, like fuck off with that. Is this how you commentated at Barry?
No, I'm just so tired. I haven't slept in days. I was a little monotone at points. The first match especially was not great. And then I only got in trouble. I only got yelled at once over the headset the whole time. I didn't get yelled at, but I had my microphone close enough to my mouth, so I was quiet. So I only heard that once. Put the mic closer to your mouth. I said, "Oh, okay."
Well, on behalf of an amazing 2023 that is now behind us, we didn't get a chance to do this, so let's do it now. Thank you so much to Rob Van Dam and Tyler Breeze for starting our year in a massive way. Thanks for to Chris Harris, even though he was recorded in 2023, he helped open up 2024 for
what
us.
a great interview that is.
So
Though.
it
That's
was
a hidden gem interview
A
there.
wonderful interview. So you've already got Chris Harris this year. You've already got Rob Van Dam, Tyler Breeze. We got more coming. Lots of lists. Please stay tuned. Like Tyler said, fucking subscribe, all those things. Like, subscribe, retweet, share, read, all those things. Please do it. We need it so badly. And until next week, when we're either listing or we're Gary Michael competing, easy for me to say. You have been Counted Out.
Cheers.